Fine speech, and we welcome Dr. Stephen de Wezen.
Well, let me start off by saying that I'm a bit daunted by the large number of people here, and I've got the feeling that I'm one of those right-wing people that they drag into question time to hold on to views that somehow seem anti-scientific. But I'm not. When I was first asked about this motion, I thought, surely not in this day and age, not with the sophisticated people we have around us, not with such intelligent opponents, could we possibly be debating whether science is better than the arts and the humanities. The obvious question, as all three have raised already, was, what do we mean by better? And as a philosopher, that's of course the first and only question that was of great interest to me in this debate. And what you've heard here is a series of accounts of why they think science is better in certain ways. And I have no problem with that at all. I hold up my hands. When it comes to explaining quantum physics, they've got it right, I think. I don't know much about it, but I think they've got it right. When it comes to telling you how transistors work, I hold up my hands. They've got it right. When it tells you all sorts of things about medicine, they're absolutely on song. And I wouldn't want to say anything other than that. And I don't think any other intelligent person would want to say anything other than that. But there's a whole world out there that's not science. Did you clap? Someone clap? No. It's not science. It's the world of evaluation. Science is really good at telling us how to do things, how to measure things, how to manipulate the physical world so we can get to certain goals or achieve certain things. It's woefully inadequate at telling us which ones we should go for and why. What's the meaning of doing these things? What's the purpose of existence? Science doesn't tell us that. No self-respecting scientist wants to tell us that. At least I don't think they do. They don't go out there to tell us who to believe in, what God to believe in. Not sophisticated scientists, as far as I understand it. They can tell me if I'm wrong. What they want to tell us is, what's reality? What can we find out by observation, by experimentation? And that's brilliant. I really endorse that. I wish them all success. I want my son to be a scientist. I want my daughter to be a scientist. But that's not all there is to it. There's the whole area of evaluative moral truths. There's the whole issue of meaning, of purpose, which science doesn't give us. Now, I need to have a look at my notes because I'm lost here. There we go. Okay. For example, science, technology will tell us how to keep people alive longer, prevent or enable pregnancy, produce awesome weapons of mass destruction, incredible medical cures. But it doesn't tell us when we ought to abort, when we ought to use in vitro fertilization, when we should go to war. Those are things that come from essentially moral argument, valid moral, things for which philosophy is particularly good at. Conceptual issues. Now, we have some scientists. I don't know if you know about a man called Sam Harris. He's a neurobiologist who works in the United States. And he wrote a book called The Moral Landscape. And he says, I'm going to tear down the distinction between science and morality. And what he says is, he says something along the lines, he argues that science can tear down the walls between scientific facts and human values. How? By urging us to think of morality in terms of human well-being. Because science can offer definite facts about our well-being in our interaction with others. Sure. What does he mean by well-being? He slipped in an evaluative premise to the argument, which he doesn't have to do with our discussion. What is well-being? Does it mean sitting in a church, nunnery, in a monastery, spending your time meditating? Does it mean getting extremely wealthy? Does it mean having a life that's 70 or 80 years long? Or does it mean a life filled with activity? And what does it mean? We've been having this debate since Aristotle, and we're still having this debate. And when you do political philosophy, that's one of the things we debate all the time. Society would be just. How do you make people live in a fair society? What do you distribute the goods and the services and the burdens of that society fairly amongst us? It's not obvious. Science doesn't tell us that. It can tell us how many goods we can make. It can make us more efficient at making those goods. It doesn't tell us whether we should be capitalists or socialists or communists or libertarians or anarchists. It tells us nothing of the sort. It tells us that if you use this chemical formula, you can do that kind of thing. You can see I don't know much about science. So, if you're a truly reflective person interested in the world, you'll see that we're not talking about science better than humanities and arts, or arts better than humanities, or better than the sciences. They're all complementary, as my colleague said. They're all come together. They're all part of that rich, diverse, magnificent part of the weird that you're talking about, that we find ourselves in. It's all part of that aspect of what it is to be human in this wonderfully exciting and interesting world. That's why you come to universities. Not to learn science so you can forget about the arts. In fact, they even admitted they don't do that. They come together in a complementary fashion. They feed on each other. They help each other. We understand the arts better because of science. Science is understood better because of some of the imagination that comes from the arts. Philosophy, of course, is the king of all these things. I say that without any bias at all. But it's the one that thinks about all these things. I often think of my colleagues there as philosophers who decided to go and work on one branch of philosophy alone. They've forgotten about all the other branches. Great, they're doing very well. Keep it up. But that's not the only thing, right? There are other things out there. Now, I'm going to end, was that a clap? Right. I'm going to end by saying, if you genuinely believe, as it seems when you put up your hands at the beginning, it felt very much like we were being set up here. If I'd known, I'd have brought my 300 political philosophy students. But if you genuinely believe that science is better than the arts and the humanities and literature and all that kind of stuff, and if that means by better that you want to take the resources away from them, or you don't want to study it or anything of that kind, which I'm not sure they want to say, but let's say you did say that, then I will leave you with a thought from our greatest playwright, Shakespeare. And in Hamlet, Horatio is looking at Hamlet when they're standing on the castle walls, when they've just seen Hamlet's father's ghost, and Horatio says, "Oh, day and night, but this is a wondrous strange." And Hamlet replies, "And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy." Thank you.